Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I wanted to do a quick video on my food bag. Guys, the other day I did a video on my everyday carry bag. It's, one bag I carry pretty much 3 seasons with me everywhere, and truth be told, probably 4 seasons with me everywhere. And, I got a different bag for deep winter, but for the most part, uh, it's a bag that I have with me, and I was just going to go ahead and show you some of the food that I keep in it. There's nothing special about it, but some people were asking, so I'm going to go ahead and go through this. As well as I had another bag that I had, this one's separate, but kind of similar. I had that in a vehicle, and it's been in there for a while. It's time to rotate it out, so I was going to go ahead and show you what's in that also. But okay, so this is in the bag that I have with me every day, day in, day out. It's meant to supplement me if I'm alone, or me and my wife should we be together and have a bump in the road. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do, guys, is I will say I also have another small bag that's in my backpack, and in that normally I have a couple paydays. I have a couple of just peanut butter packets, and randomly I will either have potentially, possibly, maybe a couple of MRE entrees or the little Mountain House type meals. So, but here in this bag, which is really the majority of my food, I've just got some of these Planters peanuts. I think I have several of them. I've also got some beef sticks, couple of more paydays, guys. My goal for this kit is to be able to keep moving should I be in some sort of hiccup, some sort of emergency. I want to be able to be relatively mobile and not have to do a ton of cooking and kind of eat on the fly should I need to. Guys, this isn't about being completely satiated for days at a time by any stretch of the imagination. It's really intended to kind of take the edge off things, keep me comfortable, keep me working, keep me doing whatever. So, all right, after that, I'll replace these crispy apple pie metrics, the absolute best little meal supplement bar, as well as the super cookie crunch, which kind of tastes like Oreos. Guys, these are 400 calories a piece. So if you do the math compared to your typical MRE entree, they are regularly like 200, 250, 300 calories for a whole entree. I've got a couple of these things. They are 3.52 ounces, so they're, half the ounces. I think a lot of those entrees are 8-ounce containers. So that's just a lot of calories in a very small amount of space. I would say the same thing with these peanuts and even the paydays. These are 1.75 ounces. It's coming in at about 280 calories. My goal is just to have the lightest food possible and, the least amount of prep and, something that I can still enjoy. Okay, after that, I've just thrown in some drink mixes. So there's some Mount Hagen coffee, which is my favorite. Got a couple of those Starbucks Vias in there, a couple of tea bags, and then I've got some Hawaiian Punch packets. So nothing wrong with that by any means. Okay, have some cashews. Oh, and more drink mixes. More tea, more coffee. And then I've got some packets of oatmeal in here also, guys. All right, after that, I only have one because I plundered the other one myself. But I normally have at least two of these Stroop waffles in here, guys. These are 2.75 ounces. I'm guessing you've had them before, but basically it's a caramel wafer kind of thing. I like them because a lot of this for me is, like I say, just taking the edge off things to kind of get me going for a while longer, as well as, there's certain foods, guys, I don't want to eat when I'm already very hungry. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but for example, tuna fish packets. I love tuna fish, that sort of thing. But when you're really hungry, honestly, it just doesn't sound as appetizing. Something like this for a payday, I can eat that and then kind of get the queasy feeling gone and move on to eating something better for me, I guess, for lack of better words. Okay, after that, guys, I got a tube of Skippy here. Sometimes I'll have two of these things in here. But, let me see what I'm talking here. This is 6 ounces, and it's 5 servings of, 190 calories each. So, about 1,000 calories, just shy of it. So, I take that 1,000 calories, and I mix it with some Old El Paso tortillas. I'll just go ahead and, put a spoonful of this on there, and just have my little, my little emergency tortillas, for lack of better words. These things, guys, Old El Paso, I buy them at Walmart. This is 8 ounces of tortillas. They have bigger ones. I like the small ones because they take up less space. But yeah, these things are 150 calories a piece. I'm sorry, 150 calories for 2 tortillas times 5 servings of this also. So, I'm back to 750 plus whatever we called that other thing, 2,000 calories. That's about 2,700 calories worth of food. I can just go ahead and, make myself a peanut butter sandwich, for lack of better words. And then, maybe wash it down with, something else like such. And, kind of take the edge off things, like I say. After that, I'll have anywhere from 2 to 4 of these normally with me. This is just what I have at the minute. Summit Breakfast Scramble from Backpackers Pantry. These are scrambled eggs. It's got some red beans and cheese and peppers in it. Guys, these are really good. I like the Mountain House ones also, very much so, the little scrambled egg mix. The only reason I went with these ones is because they don't have as much air in them. I can squish them down a little better. But either way, to me, eggs are spectacular just because, they got a lot of the nutrients that I want in there. A couple of eggs. Normally, that's what I have every day. That'll get me through to, like I say, dinner time normally. A couple of eggs and, whatever else I have with it. Honestly, normally it's, just some coffee and, normally I'll try and put something else on the side. But like I say, that'll get me through, half a day anyway. And that's it right there, guys. Now, one thing I do all the time, I mentioned it in my last video. I've got a little tin this big. I should have brought it out. But it's a little mint tin, and I put 16 bouillon cubes in that thing. And what that allows is that every day, me and my wife theoretically could go ahead and have, a hot cup of broth to look forward to with dinner, or, whatever the case is. And it's kind of a pseudo food, for lack of better words, that kind of gives us the illusion of, having a meal. It helps fill you up. Plus, like I say, drink lots of water, drink lots of drinks, and, is this optimal? No. This is really intended, 2 days, me and my wife, yeah, we're fine with this. And like I say, I'll normally have a couple of MRE entrees in there, and I'll normally, pretty regularly, I'll have, another Mountain House or 2, the bigger ones, just to have them. But even if this was all I had with the broth, and the other paydays, I've got enough to kind of to keep us moving. Hypothetically, that's a dinner with some soup broth. Maybe we'll each have a pack of these before bed, just for, to have some extra calories in us while we're trying to rest or that sort of thing. Kind of keep the thermostat going if, you had a crazy day. Maybe you have those oatmeals for breakfast. or have the have the paydays out of my other kit for breakfast and get on the move. The next day I can go ahead and have, a couple of paydays for breakfast. Maybe save those for dinner. And then, a couple of days of supplementing the peanut butter and tortillas kind of thing. Is it a perfect system? No, guys. 90% of the time, 97% of the time, I'm probably never going to use this stuff. Other than, a lot of times when I'm out on the go, I'll go ahead and, like I say, plunder a Stroop waffle, a payday, Metrics bar, whatever. If it's a long afternoon, I'll do that sort of thing. But, I have had occasions, like I say, we've been evacuated out of here before because of, avalanches. I had food with me. Right now there's fires going on all over the place. We're in an area where, we've got fires in our general area also. It's nice to have stuff with you. And if nothing else, just so I can pick up and, I got my day bag with me and I go and, hey, I've got 2 days worth of food in there and, maybe a little extra. So something to consider. Now, guys, I'm going to get this off the table because I want to show you something real quick. This is another kit that I have with me normally, and if I'm traveling in the car or doing whatever, I'll normally have something with me. So, if it were a true emergency where I knew I was heading out ahead of time, maybe I have a backpack full of Mountain House stuff. Nothing wrong with that. And then this stuff kind of just supplements those meals. But sometimes I might have a little, little shoulder bag with some meals in it. Or this is one that I've actually had here recently. I'm going to go through it. This is Meals Ready to Eat. It's some sort of civilian version of MREs. I've kind of used this bag to the point where it's actually starting to fall apart on me. But this, the contents that were in here, they've been in my truck for a good while. And, we're getting up to, I was down in Phoenix for a while there. We're getting up to, 120, 114 degree days. And so I went ahead and, I figured it's time to rotate this out. And I'm just giving you an idea of another way you can do the exact same thing I just did. So this is spaghetti and meatballs. Guys, like we were talking a minute ago, this is 8 ounces of food. It's 300 calories. So this is 3.52 ounces a piece. So this is almost, well, heck, we're about 7 ounces there and 800 calories. Or do you want 8 ounces of food here with 300 calories? To me it's a no-brainer. In a pinch, I'm going to take one of these. Actually, I'm going to take this one because the crispy apple pie doesn't melt. They all get crunched up, but they don't melt. So just something to keep in mind. But, I've got a spaghetti meal there. Same kind of thing. I've got a big bag of peanuts. Guys, something for you guys to consider. During the wintertime, I always have that peanut butter with me, or I do a lot of times. But I swap that out in the wintertime because during the wintertime here, that peanut butter will go completely solid. So instead, to me, it makes more sense to have, this is 160 calories of peanuts times 4 servings. So, that'll keep me rocking for a while, but it's not going to freeze up like the peanut butter necessarily would. Normally I have a couple of those paydays in there. Here's, once again, I threw in the 2 Metrics bars and my spoon. I guess I got to put a spoon back in my other kit there. I didn't even notice I didn't have one. But I've got that. Guys, these sesame snaps are great. These are 200 calories in this little thing of sesame snaps. It's basically, I don't know, some sort of sugar and sesame seeds. They taste great, but if you take this thing out, you open it up, you put some peanut butter on them, it just goes a lot farther. Have some tea in there. Have some Mount Hagen coffee, like I say. Tends to be my favorite. I got one of those in there. I'm surprised I don't have more drinks than that, really. After that, I think I've got about 4 oatmeals there. I've got at least one Spam in there, and then 2 packs of peanut butter there, guys. And that gives me the ability, that Spam, I can either put it in my, sounds crazy, but, eat it with oatmeal, or I can, cook it up on the side, or whatever this thing is if I really want to, fry it up. Or I can just eat it cold, separate. Or I can mix it in with these potatoes. This is au gratin potatoes. So once again, though, this thing, I don't know how many ounces. It doesn't have it marked, but it's significantly heavier than some of the other foods that I choose. So maybe, like I say, I put the Spam in with that there. Here's a stroopwafel there. So, that's it. Is this perfect for 2 people? No, you're going to be hungry. But for breakfast, I could have 200 calories of oatmeal with 200 calories of peanut butter with a packet of oatmeal, maybe 2 each morning. I'd say that would get, me and my wife, hypothetically, take care of us for 1 breakfast pretty well. Boom. Well, let me see here. Normally I have an extra payday. I don't. Whatever, that's fine. Maybe I just snack on those through the day. And then come dinner time, we each have that. And then, hypothetically, we got some breakfast to get us moving in the morning. Whatever the case is. And then, well, that's only a day and a half for the food. But it's an extra day and a half on top of the stuff that I have with me anyway. So, something to consider. Main points about this, guys. People say, get tuna packets or something like that. Don't get tuna packets. They don't have enough calories in them. This has 230 calories. Normally, your tuna's going to have like 100 and some calories. So, it's not worth doing. I like things. I don't got to do a ton of cooking. I can eat these cold. I can warm them up, hypothetically. Either way, I'm in pretty good shape. Even with my other food kit we were talking about, I can just pour water in this thing. You don't want to have to do it. But in this or my oatmeal, I can just go ahead and pour that water in it. Let it soak through the afternoon and, do it the tough kid way. And they call it cold soaking and, eat it that way. If for some reason I just cannot, do a fire for some reason or, don't have stuff to warm it up. So that's just kind of the way I do it. 3 seasons anyway, and something to consider. Guys, if you liked the video, cool. Thanks for watching. Check out some of my other videos. I've got a very spectacular, let me see here, video on my Altoids tin. Guys, this is the best tin on YouTube. Go check it out. If you like that sort of thing, I got that. I've got my day bag. You can see what I keep in here, along with, like I said, that other the other food gear that I had with me. But anyway, thanks for visiting. Bless y'all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.